Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode 9 of the Super 80s Podcast Friend. We are a TV theme song explorer. We have one mission, and that is to analyze every single theme song from every single 1980s television show, cartoons, dramas, soap operas, Matlock. Everything is fair game for us, and we are super excited to be here. If you want to find us on social media, you can find us on the Facebooks, the Instagrams, and you can also email us at super80spodcastfriend@gmail.com. We love hearing from you guys. I am one of the three hosts. I'm John.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
Hey, Ryan.
Hello, I am Engineer Pete.
Hey, Engineer Pete. So, great to be here. Great to be ready for another 80s theme song. We don't know what it's going to be, and we'll get to all that in a little bit. If this is your first time listening to our show, we start out by shooting the shit a little bit. We occasionally have retractions from previous episodes, and then we get our robot to help us decide what song we are going to listen to this week. Guys, any retractions? Week 9.
What did we do before? I don't even remember.
Smurfs was our last episode. No, Facts of Life.
Facts of Life.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
No.
I don't think I
No.
said anything real
No.
factual or opinionated, so I have nothing to retract.
Well, we love hearing from our listeners, and I didn't have any retractions, but some listeners have reached out to me.
To tell us what we said
Tell
wrong?
us what we said wrong.
Awesome.
So I've got a couple of them. This first one comes from listener Tyler in Madison, and we were referring to Uncle Scrooge. This is back in episode 4 on the DuckTales episode. We were referring to Uncle Scrooge's nemesis as his cousin.
Huh.
That's probably you, Ryan.
Probably.
But it's Tyler tells us his name is Flintheart Glomgold. He is not a cousin, and he is the second richest duck in Duckburg and is a rival to Uncle Scrooge, not family.
Interesting.
Thank you, Tyler.
And this next one comes from a listener who did not leave their name, but during the episode 5 Love Boat episode, mentioned that Abe Vigoda was at one point a singer and recorded an album at the Hollywood Bowl.
What?
And you said, I didn't know he sang. Ryan said that. Turns out he is absolutely not a singer and definitely did not record an album at the Hollywood Bowl.
He should have.
Have you pieced it together in your head who you were thinking of?
No idea.
Robin Thicke's kid?
I feel like there's some sort of Bob Goldthwait connection there, but I don't
Bob Goldthwait. Steve Gutenberg.
So I don't know what happened there. So those are the 2 retractions. So if we could give a little retraction. So that was...
Well, are those retractions or are those corrections?
Should we call them corrections?
They're definitely corrections.
All right, we will call it. So we've got a new theme song for that.
Yep.
Holy smokes, we've got some corrections.
Perfect.
It's good. And then one other fact was pointed out by a listener. Charlotte Ray, who played Mrs. Garrett, this listener knows that we're Wisconsin lads, was born and raised in Milwaukee.
Oh.
Fun.
Yeah. So Charlotte Ray, and maybe born, raised in Milwaukee, and eventually moved to Shorewood, I believe. I'm not familiar with Shorewood, but is that in the general Milwaukee area?
Sure
Yeah.
it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those are the 3 corrections and other listener suggestions. So listeners, we really do love hearing from you, corrections and all. So keep them coming. There are some corrections.
Well done.
Flintheart Abe Vigoda, not a singer. Anything else to report here on week 9? And then we'll talk beer.
It's just absolute silence. I got nothing.
Yeah, no.
I got nothing.
Oh, that's okay. We also, as you all know, are looking for a sponsor, and we figure beer's our best bet. What are we drinking this week, guys?
I've got Lakefront Brewery IPA.
Charlotte Ray's hometown of Milwaukee.
Indeed. Edna's Edibles.
Edna's Edibles.
I've got Revolution Anti-Hero from Chicago.
Excellent. And I am drinking the Three Sheeps Water Slides from Sheboygan, Wisconsin. So 3 excellent IPAs. Guys, listeners, we almost had an audible and recorded in the morning. So my thought immediately was, if we record some morning, which we eventually will, do we still have a beer?
Sure.
Ryan's a sure. Engineer Pete?
I wouldn't say no.
Pete wouldn't say no. All right. I was just wondering if, would we have coffee or tea or milk? Boring. All right. Morning beers. Join us. If you're listening in the morning and you're at home and you don't have to drive today, crack open a beer.
It's a great idea.
It's a great idea. Have some, if you're working from home and you got no big plans, have some day beers and listen to the Super 80s podcast, friend. Well, guys, it is that time. We got to wake up a robot. Our robot, Conky, rescued from a dumpster. If you haven't listened before, you can backtrack. But he was Pee Wee Herman's robot. He's ours now. We love him. Conky, how you doing?
Ready to assist you. Pee-wee.
Morning, Conky. What's today's secret word?
Today's secret word is Charles in charge.
Oh, boy.
What have we done to anger Conky?
Chuck.
Charles in charge.
It's a very interesting choice for Senor Conky.
If you are new to our show, this is once Conky tells us the show, we share our own personal memories. Then Engineer Pete is going to give us some fast facts about the show and maybe about the song itself. Then we dive into the song, we pick it apart, we just listen to it, and then with round 2, we watch the opening clip, and then we wrap everything up. So, guys, personal memories of Charles in Charge.
I like the show. I watched it. My recollection is syndication, and it was on weird time, like a Saturday early evening, like a Saturday at 5 or 6. I feel like it was on it. For some reason, I feel like watching it in conjunction with American Gladiators.
Okay. But I agree with you on the syndication memories.
Yeah. Great show. My recollection is a ridiculous plot, which I'm sure we'll get into. But but yeah, my memories are very positive.
Mine are neutral. I remember that it was a show. I know that I have seen it, but I don't have a whole lot beyond that. So sorry for not contributing more to the podcast.
That's okay. Like Ryan, I was a regular viewer, and I liked it as well. And I agree. I remember watching it on, again, those kind of syndication channels here in our part of Wisconsin. It would have been things like Channel 18, 24, and 26. I'm sure wherever you are from, you have similar things. I also think when we first got cable, it may have aired on WGN, which, to our non-American listeners, it was a cable channel that it was out of Chicago, but became nationally syndicated.
Right.
Fellow Americans who were listening, like TBS, right? So these are in Atlanta.
The two big stations.
They started out as just local channels, but they got nationwide traction. So I also have really fond memories of the show. I haven't seen an episode in over 30 years.
For sure.
So I have no idea how it holds up. But yeah, I remember watching it after school and on Saturdays at maybe while eating dinner.
Yeah, just a weird. My memories are it's on a weird time, but you got Scott Baio, who was a veteran at that time.
Happy Days.
Exactly. Happy Days. Chachi.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And Nicole Eggert,
who went on to
Baywatch fame.
Yeah.
Were you about to say she went into a red swimsuit?
I was going to say superstardom, but
okay.
Red swimsuit's better. And there's another one who Pete might tell us about who was in. This is the worst description. The other sister also became relatively famous.
Really?
Yeah, I think she was in 10 Things I Hate About You.
I don't know that.
It was a 90s movie.
Okay. I thought you were going to say she was in Tremors.
I like that you guys are sort of trying to predict what I'm saying. Someday, not today, we'll play a game where I will stop a sentence and you guys will try to fill in what I'm about to say.
Oh, that'll be fun.
That will be fun.
Listeners will love that one.
Yeah,
They'll love that.
We'll look at our rankings. By the way, before I forget, listeners, we're so happy you're tuning in. Every week we see people tuning in from new places. I would like to give a shout out to, when I looked at our little webpage that tells us where people are coming from, our 2 newest listener locales, Rhode Island. Welcome to the podcast, Rhode Island.
What amazes me about that is the frequency with which this person travels. I mean, they're all over the world.
So Rhode Island, welcome to the Super 80s podcast. And Austria. We have just this
Wow.
morning a listener from Austria, and yesterday Thailand. So the Super 80s podcast friend, international.
Global.
Yeah, we're a global phenomenon.
Global.
All right. With that being said, Engineer Pete, school us on Charles in Charge.
Okay, Charles in Charge premiered in October of 1984 on CBS, produced by Al Burton. Charles in Charge joined the CBS Wednesday night lineup. It was up against ABC's hit action series The Fall Guy and NBC's Highway to Heaven. So it was a tough row to hoe there.
Very.
Highway to Heaven.
And it lasted one season.
This is
And
where it gets interesting.
So in February 85, it was placed on hiatus. And a year later, it was picked up for syndication. 4 seasons were produced in syndication, the last airing in November of 1990. In total, 126 episodes were produced, 22 in the abbreviated first season, and 26 in each of the syndicated seasons.
Respectable.
And this is interesting. We'll interrupt you for a second because our memories are correct. It did start out. That's our new
the
sound.
doorbell.
That's Conky. Conky, go to bed. It started out as a True Network show, and then it goes into syndication with, and I don't know if Pete, you're going to get into this. I believe a very different cast.
Yes.
All right.
So it's the premise is that Charles, a college student, answers an ad to be basically a live-in daycare or
A house marm.
house marm. Yeah, sure. There we go.
We see an 80s trend here.
And in exchange for room and board, he takes care of these kids.
Like he's one of the family?
Yeah, basically, he's in charge. And then when they start up syndication, their plot line is that the original family. Oh, Charles leaves for the summer after college.
So this is season 1, the one that gets canceled.
Yep.
Okay.
So we're going into season 2. Charles comes back from his summer break from college. There's a new family living in the house because the first family had moved out of town and sublet their house to a different family, but included in the terms of the sublet that they had to honor the terms that they had arranged with this Charles.
No.
There was a Charles clause in the...
So
Yes.
Charles goes to college and then goes home for summer break. And he comes to the home and they're like, "You're ours."
Is that weird?
I did not. I obviously knew there was another cast, but this is
The plot,
preposterous.
the things that they come up with to change casts are just something else.
Because it was such a bust, why not just say nothing and pretend that
Correct.
That's
Like
it.
anybody remembered.
the 9 people who watched in season 1? That's preposterous. I love it.
And people accepted that. That's the amazing part. They accepted that, and they were willing to move on with the show.
They wanted some Charles in Charge.
That's really great writing.
And so Scott Baio and Willie Ames, who played Buddy,
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
Willie.
buddy.
those two were the only the only carryovers.
That's all you need.
And Buddy is to Charles as Skippy is to Alex P. Keaton,
Correct.
if I may bring in a family
I
touch.
like that.
Kind of the dopey, nerdy, but generally gentle and kind
Correct.
foil.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. So Charles was obviously, so it said Scott Baio. I don't know. Do we even want to go through the first season cast?
Nah, I
They
think
were-
I
they
think-
were
I
the,
don't. I
uh,
don't know that season really. I don't think I.
They were the
know it all.
Pembroke family, and they were replaced by the Powell family.
Powell's. Yep.
Michael Perman played, James T. Callahan played Walter Powell. Sandra Kearns played Ellen Powell. Nicole Eggert played Jamie Powell. Josie Davis played Sarah Powell. Alexander Polinsky played Adam Powell. And Ellen Travolta played Lillian.
Charles's mom.
His mom. Okay, so I was like, I don't know who Lillian was. His mom. He dragged his mom into this
She got
ordeal.
in the mix, and so it was a grandpa,
Right. I was going to say there's a grandpa involved.
a grandpa
right?
and a mom,
Yep.
2 daughters and a son,
Yep.
and then Charles, Buddy,
Correct.
and Charles's mom.
Correct. Now, in the first season, it was a husband-wife combo, but they ixnayed that.
Different kids too.
Correct. The whole well, clearly,
Top to
they
bottom.
moved out of town.
Oh man.
I mean, what in the world?
I liked the grandpa.
Correct.
I enjoyed
wore
that
sweaters. Had a was a great grandpa vibe.
Yep. He kind of reminded me of the old guy on Frasier.
Also, yeah, good call. Yeah,
Right, that type of
a little bit grumpy, but
endearing.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What concepts got thrown to the wayside that they accepted the sublet? Like,
What's crumpled up in that trash can?
exactly.
Imagine the boardroom. All right, 3 people are going to present the plan to bring the show back to life.
Right. One of them had an alien. One of them had a...
What if we just say they sublet the joint and you get the kid?
Great.
I doubt that's legal.
I don't know the rules on house marms, but this seems legit to me.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, information on the theme song was limited, but it was composed by David Kurtz, Michael Jacobs, and Al Burton. And it was performed, this is the fun part, by Shandy Cinnamon.
Oh.
Cinnamon is spelled with an S, and I don't believe it's even a stage name.
She was dancing last night at the local establishment.
So I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that is her real name, not a stage name.
Whew.
And the fact that she did not end up on the poll, kudos to her.
Shandy Cinnamon, singing songs.
She's written and performed for TV and films.
Sure she has.
The song "Tough Love" in the film Karate Kid.
It's got to be good.
Tough love.
I don't remember it, but
let's make a mental note
want to
pull that up later.
Yeah.
And also some other ones I didn't know. And then the song "Fight to Survive" in the movie Bloodsport, which I don't know that song either, but I just liked that it was in Bloodsport.
Now, what's interesting is the same theme song. They kept the theme song from season 1, even though they ditched everything else, right? So I feel like the theme song is what brought this back. I feel like they went to the executives are like, we got to find a way to get Charles back. The song's too dang good. And they had to come up with some plot.
Yeah. I've got a few seconds of Tough Love by Shandy Cinnamon.
Do you have...
I can't remember any scene where this is in Karate Kid.
Kind of like a poor man's Go-Go's?
Sure.
Yeah. I would...
Bangles? Go-Go's?
I think I've seen Karate Kid literally 10,000 times, and I don't I don't recall that song at all.
Let's just hear a few more seconds of the hook. She sounds like Susanna Hoffs of the Bangles.
I agree with that.
She has worked as a backing vocalist for Todd Rundgren, Bernadette Peters. John, you're going to love this. Hoyt Axton. Don't know who that is, but I know you.
Hoyt Axton.
Hoyt.
Yeah. Those are all the facts that I have about Charles in Charge and the theme song.
That's great stuff. And I think this song has certainly, in our age range, made its way into the just cultural sphere, right? Everybody knows this song.
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
I feel the song really made the rounds for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It's a theme song that people are familiar with, at least if you're... But international listeners, let us know if you have ever heard of Charles in Charge, because this is a bit more of a deep cut, I would say, than some of our others.
I agree, but Pete, like you're saying, even if you didn't watch the show, it's hard. There's no way you could escape it, right? Like you know this song, the show, like it. It's this first run syndication things, which I feel like was an 80s only phenomenon as well.
And I feel as this show goes on, we are certainly not experts, but we'll probably learn some of this shit and be able to share it. Because, like you said, a show that was made by a major network to go directly to syndication.
Correct.
Right? There was no intention after season 2 of this ever being on a major network.
Correct.
It was like, this is going straight to Channel 18 or to
Correct.
WGN.
We're going to sell it to whoever wants it, basically.
So we should learn a little bit. I'd be curious to learn a little bit more about that. I think the show Out of This World, which I think I've mentioned before, it was a favorite of mine, was one of those.
Correct.
Straight to Channel 24.
Correct.
It never had a single season?
Not experts here. Maybe.
Okay.
Doesn't feel like it, right? There's a handful of them that are like that.
And you can see it in the budget. Right. Like as you watch it, it looks a little cheaper.
Right. In fact, I actually think that American Gladiators is that same thing. Although that might have been a Fox show.
Well, now we're really showing that we don't know
Yeah,
anything.
I have no idea.
But I have a question on between the CBS season and the syndication season. Was the set the same?
Yes.
Did they buy like the physical?
No, my
They
recollection.
recorded in the same studio. I don't know how that works. Like,
Yeah, my recollection is that it's the same. It's the same house. It's definitely the same
I mean,
house.
I know for the plot it has to be the same house. But I
Yeah,
was just
but
curious
it's
if
the
they,
same. Yeah, I mean, because
Love it.
they had the living room, they had the kitchen, and then they had Charles' room. Like,
We're about to get to that.
well, he's in charge.
Well, are there any other general comments, questions, areas of concern before we dive into the song itself? Listeners, if you're still with us, thank you. We are about to listen to Charles in Charge. Do we need to pull up the lyrics, or are these pretty clear cut?
Well, I'll pull them up, but I think they're clear cut.
I do
but you
too.
never know.
I think Shandy enunciated well.
Thank you, Shandy.
Let's take a listen.
The new boy in the neighborhood lives downstairs and it's understood.
Well, what's understood?
Are we talking lyrically?
Yeah.
I think they're like, he might want to get his mitts into our young daughters, so we're throwing this guy in the right. That's what I've always assumed.
Correct. The other thing, already in the first two lines, the ridiculousness of this show starts to come through, right? Like, what can you say? And he's a new boy
In the neighborhood.
in the neighborhood.
And I mean, how are these people explaining to their neighbors, like, oh yeah, there's just a 19-year-old kid living above our was he above the garage or was he in the house proper?
He lives downstairs.
Lives downstairs in the
Downstairs.
basement.
Understood.
Oh, in the basement. Oh, it's
Yeah.
understood. Yeah.
Yeah, it's understood. He lives in the basement.
I mean, there's a lot to. We're one line in. There's a lot to think about. So one, do you guys agree with me on that line? He lives downstairs and it's understood.
Correct. That's
Like,
the line.
That he's a creeper.
Well, maybe it's safest.
They're about to tell you that it's okay. He lives downstairs, and it's understood.
It's understood.
That he's going to just take good care, whatever the line is. So
So new boy in the neighborhood lives down. One other thing I wanted to bring up, and we're going to see this a bunch of times over the years of this podcast. Middle class, middle America families with butlers, house people. I mean, you got Belvedere. There's a whole.
Correct.
What the hell was that all about?
You didn't have?
It's a fascinating. Like there's more. There's minimum of 3 shows that pulled the same premise.
It just existed. It's a concept that existed in sitcom writers' heads.
That's it. All right, we've got a new boy. He's in the neighborhood. He lives downstairs, and it's understood.
He's there just to take good care of me.
Okay, you guys didn't even raise your hands. I'm stopping this one. That sounds like it's implying something way different than what is actually happening.
do you think Shandy just threw that line in there?
Shandy's like she watched Happy Days and she's like, Scott can take good care of me.
Chachi.
I'm going to assume this is the single mom singing,
Correct.
right? Because we know it's grandpa, mom, 2 daughters, son.
Correct.
So we're assuming this is coming from the voice of mom. He's there.
She's narrating this tale.
Let's finish the line here.
Like he's one of the family. Charles.
So before we get to the chorus, he's family.
He's one of the family.
He lives in the basement. It's unfurnished,
Right.
unfinished.
Right.
We sublet a house. It came with a guy.
He's
Part of the family.
Whom we've never met. But it's
He knocks
fine.
on the door and he's expecting to see the Joneses, and
Correct.
he finds the Schmidts.
Correct.
Who the hell are you?
And I actually think that that's the first episode of season 2.
Listeners, nobody in this room has seen an episode of Charles in Charge in over 30 years, and we know some of you did because it had to go to DVD or streaming services. Tell us about episode 1, please. We'll air it on our retractions, corrections, and fun facts.
Yeah, I feel like that's the whole first episode is probably about just confusion. He probably brings Buddy into the mix, and
I mean, there would be a lot to uncover in that situation.
Oh, absolutely.
And hijinks and laugh tracks and...
I don't know.
Well, we've got a catchy chorus coming up.
in charge of our days and our nights.
If we want to take the mom theme a little further, Charles in charge
Not
of
only
our
the days.
She's separating it.
and our nights.
Exactly.
There's two distinct situations
Correct.
going on there.
Hey,
Daytime with the kids,
nighttime
nighttime.
with mom.
Exactly.
Is she going to the yeah, she has to go to the basement. He's not allowed upstairs. So she comes down in a silky 80s robe.
Oh, man.
Charles. I brought some Bartles and James wine coolers. Are you thirsty? Work
Put on
hard today.
moonlighting and let's go.
I have some micro magic French fries for you.
Grandpa's snoring away in the recliner.
Yeah, he doesn't have a bedroom either. He just sleeps in the
No,
chair.
no, exactly.
Charles in charge of our days and our nights. Let's find out, Engineer Pete, what else Charles is in charge of.
Charles in charge of our wrongs and our rights.
Well, again, differentiating nights and days, days and nights, wrongs and rights.
I've been bad, Charles.
Jeez Louise.
We're going blue. Episode 9.
My goodness.
Charles, yeah, this is musically, by the way, it's a sappy, catchy little ditty. There is some interesting, I don't want to go too deep, it's a drum machine. It's not a real drum set, but it almost sounds influenced by the band Toto. It has almost a Steve Porcaro, Rosanna, that kind of vibe.
Do you think, getting back to the
Phil
plot-
Collins, sorry.
Phil Collins, yeah. Drum machine master, right? Plot-wise, do you think that part of the viewership, the whole point that people watched the show was to see when he was going to take up with the mother? Like
Now,
that?
to be fair, we're making this whole part up.
Of course. Of course.
So, we listeners, was there any tension? I'm sure there wasn't.
There's no way. There's no way it could
Who
have been.
played the mom? I don't even
Sandra
know.
Kern?
Sandra Kern? All right. I don't know if I remember her at all. Sandra Kern. But I doubt it, but maybe Sandra. I'm Googling here right on the Sandra Kearns. Yep, here we go. Sandra Kearns. No
Yeah.
picture on her Wikipedia
Yeah,
page.
I don't
Sad.
recall there being any awkward tension between Charles and Mom, or
Do you
Charles
really think there would have been?
This is 1985.
off the set. Sure.
Sandra Kern's memoir.
We should find it. We should find it.
Sandra Kearns, if you're listening, if you could let us know if there was any off-set or on-set tension between you and Charles, we would love to hear that. What else is going on with this Phil Collins-y sounding song?
And I see I want Charles in charge of me.
Could you repeat that lyric to me?
There's the one lyric that I think is vague, and I'll tell you what it says. So I'll just read the whole chorus, right? Charles in charge of our days and our nights. Charles in charge of our wrongs and our rights. And I sing, I want Charles in charge of me.
For this,
I mean, this is not...
How do you read it any other way? How do you...
and for this being about like a family having a live-in friend, it's all about her.
Correct. Not us.
Charles in
And I like-
charge of me.
She's declaring that she's singing it.
I sing.
Not only does she want it, she's singing it, right? And I sing.
This is a strange little ditty.
Yes.
Okay, I'm guessing we're on the home stretch here.
Yeah, we're about 75% of the way there.
All right. Goes up musically, classic thing here. You go up a half or a full step to increase the
Yep.
intensity of it. And there's some great keyboard horns in the
I
background.
was going to say,
Excellent. Somebody's got out their Yamaha, their
Yep.
80s Yamaha that we used to write this theme song. And
It's great.
all right. That high harmony there
Yeah.
of our wrongs and our rights.
Yeah.
Shandy brought it.
She really, she doesn't mess around.
And I feel like they're repeating the chorus here, which to me just says that she's just doubling down on what she's saying.
She's like,
You're in charge of the days and the nights. You're in charge of the wrongs and the rights. You know,
Shandy or Mom. What's her last name? Powell? The Powell family?
the Powells.
Correct.
Right.
Ellen Powell was her character.
Powell.
Love that
Yes.
cold stop.
That is a cold stop. And she,
Yeah.
again, a little weird that it's about her and not the family.
I agree.
Well, sorry. This is, we are still assuming for entertainment purposes that it's written from the viewpoint of the mother as opposed to the whole family.
Yes. She wants Charles. And I want Charles in charge of us. It's got a decent ring. Let me try it. I want Charles in charge of us. We
Nope.
want.
No,
We
doesn't work.
want
Yeah.
Well, somebody, if you could make a version of this, listeners, we get a lot of requests. If you could record a version of this and make it in the plural instead of singular, so make it coming from.
Shandy Cinnamon, if you're listening.
I love that we got like 9 listeners, and we're like, the actress is, she's listening, Shandy's
Absolutely.
listening.
But let's go through this again because I think this deserves another reading.
Please.
This is just where my mind's going, but we've got a new boy in the neighborhood. They take him in, and they decide, they make some contract with him to take care of the family.
He signs it in blood.
He signs it in blood. You're gonna live downstairs. It's understood. You're in charge of the days and the nights and the wrongs and the rights. That's how it was said, I'm sure.
So it was like,
Well, it took place in New Jersey, but you were very, very Wisconsin with that.
have you, do you guys know we're from Wisconsin? Oh, yeah. So he's sitting on a couch, and all 5 of the family, or 6 family members are barking it at him. Here's another thing.
Well, and were the other people in the neighborhood, were they being like, has anybody seen Charles? Like, he's a new boy in the neighborhood. What happened to him? We haven't seen him in a long time. He's living in the Powell's basement, for crying out loud.
Well, that's a great, it's a song. I don't know if it's a great song yet. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. If you are,
I think the lyrics have just distracted us from the song itself
Yes.
so much.
a little bit of Phil Collins, a little bit of Bangles, and I'm not making any Elton John or Lennon and McCartney comparisons with this one. I'll tell you that much.
Fair enough.
Let's take a look. So if you're new because you love Charles in Charge, and for some reason you're still listening and we haven't offended you, the second one is a lot quicker. We're going to watch Charles in Charge. By the way, our Conky the robot, he's the one in charge of playing our videos, and I would say about 60% of the time, our Conky kind of shuts down and doesn't play videos. So right now, Ryan and Pete are on. They're looking a little panicked, but they're trying to get it working.
I think Conky's asleep.
Stop.
I think
Let me take a look. Show me the screen.
Conky's asleep.
Conky locked up.
Oh, Conkster.
Oh, that's great.
You goon, Conkster.
Well, fortunately, I've got it right here. So you guys talk about something for a second.
Is Conky running Windows 3.1?
1.0, 1.3, Apple, original Apple. it's I don't know, and I don't remember any other families coming to the Powell house. But again, it's been a long time since I've
buddy.
listened to the show.
All right. Is Conky done?
Conky's went to bed.
Well, hold on one sec. There he is. Conky, you were just a sleepy little guy.
Conkster.
Let's check it out.
The new
I'm sorry, but we had Facts of Life last week, and we said that kind of set the template. Correct for this is the exact same. They show the house with the font.
Show the house, and the name of the show comes sweeping in
It's the
from
exact
somewhere.
same
Right?
thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic. And I apologize, but just like Facts of Life, they're all sitting around. And,
Oh yeah.
I remember this house. Here comes Charles Scapeo.
neighborhood lives down
Oh, that's a
there.
sweater. Holy moly, is that a sweater?
Encourage you to watch along at home. He's wearing a very 80s looking sweater. It's a
What do you-
black and
what-
white kind of.
Pepper. It looks like salt and
Looks like
pepper is
salt
the
and
best
pepper.
way I could describe that. It's salt and pepper, and it looks itchy. It's all get up. God.
Nice haircut.
Yeah.
Great hairline.
Yep.
Understood. He's there just to take good care of me.
Buddy.
Willie Ames,
Yeah.
buddy. Now, he was on 8 is Enough.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So both of these guys had some 80s pedigree of, TV shows and were known quantities coming into the show.
Seasoned. All right.
Yeah.
Willie Ames wearing a bright yellow sweater with a green collar underneath.
Oh,
Go
absolutely.
Pack.
Like he's one of the family. Charles in charge.
Well,
Hold on.
what are they doing picking on Scott Baio?
So he's sleeping in the basement and the 3 kids go down there and mess with him?
Exactly.
He lives downstairs and it's understood.
Don't they know that he's in charge of the wrongs and the rights?
Just be happy they didn't find their mom.
They're Silk Road.
That's true. Very true.
Good call.
Of our day.
There's the mom,
There
by
she
the way.
is.
Charles in
Sandra Kearns. Good looking mom.
Yeah, nice lady. Yeah, she resembles the mother from Growing Pains in my book.
Joanna Kearns.
Are they
Are they sisters? Holy shit. Hold on one
I
second.
think we just may have cracked the code here. We just maybe have cracked.
Hold on.
The
Sandra Kearns. Early years, career, family. I've got nothing right now about Joanna Kearns, but that is fascinating that you just said that.
I think if we ask Robin Thicke, he would know.
It's really strange you mentioned that because there's no reference of them being related. No, her sister is Donna de Verona, and that's
Okay,
it.
I would have put money on it, but
Yeah.
what can you say?
charge of our wrongs.
Nicole Eggert.
Yeah,
And I see I
What's her? Could you give me just a few more seconds?
want
Josie.
Could somebody Google Josie Davis?
She's got a great sweater right there.
She was. I think she was in an 90s movie or early 2000s called 10 Things I Hate About You, and she may have had a little bit of other fame as well. But I know obviously Nicole Eggert is sort of the breakout star of this.
Right.
But I believe Josie Davis had at least a bit of a run in the late 90s, early 2000s where she was in a handful
And
of...
are we sure it wasn't Tremors?
Engineer Pete?
Positive. But I do want to just add, I had Tremors on VHS, and I really enjoyed that movie.
I'm telling you, Kevin Bacon, right?
Yes,
Bacon.
Kevin Bacon, absolutely.
Any deets, Pete?
I'm not seeing 10 Things I Hate About You. I mean, a lot of things I've never heard of.
All right.
Yeah, I think that was.
I'll get it. I'll get it for our next episode.
Yeah.
Next week, guys, on our retractions and corrections and whatnot, I'll figure out what I was thinking.
And
about.
like the few shows that I do recognize, it just says like one episode.
Okay.
A TV show called Hollywood Heights. She did 11 episodes there.
No.
No.
The sweater game, though, her sweater, this pink thing, it looks like it almost has ice cream cones or something on it, right? Like a very kid-like pajama.
Yes, I agree.
I love it. And it's turtleneck, like a huge turtleneck, like a flip-over turtleneck.
Everything about her is screaming mid-'80s.
Yeah.
There's the youngest brother.
Alexander.
So their outfits are when you dress up for an 80s party, watch
Correct.
the opening theme for this. You're
Correct.
all set.
You're
They're covering everything.
It's in the pocket of like 85, 86, 87, right? I mean,
Deep in
perfect.
that well.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. Bright colors.
Yep.
Very...
Do you remember Camille from 90210?
So, full disclosure, the three of us are pretty deep 90210 fans. I do remember Camille. She worked at Donna's clothing store. That's Camille.
It's Camille.
That's maybe
Wow.
what I was thinking of. All right.
Deep pull there. Well done.
Nice.
Well done, Engineer
Detective
Pete.
Engineer Pete, also known as Detective Pete.
Detective. that.
Not qualified for either title.
The detective saves us again.
So you always had that, though. You
Something
had that in the back of your cranium that you knew her somewhere.
Yes.
There's the grandpa.
He's working on a scale model of the Titanic at the kitchen table.
That's a great life right there.
Stereotypical 80s grandpa.
That's a great life. He's got the grandpa sweater.
That's a warship. That's not the Titanic.
I agree. It's a battleship for
An
sure.
I think he was a
aircraft
Navy
carrier or
vet.
something.
I think he
I agree.
He was a Navy vet.
I agree.
That'll
Right on.
track.
Oh, he's great. James
Yeah.
Callahan.
No, hold the horses here. Why in the world at the very end they're taking a family picture? Why would Charles and Buddy be in the family picture?
Buddy's the most egregious error.
Charles is family. Buddy is that no makes
There's no
sense.
reason for Buddy to be in this, or Charles for that matter. But he's one of the family, I guess,
Yeah.
by contract. But
Like
he's
family
one-
pictures, like siblings, significance, others. If they're not engaged, like sorry, you're out. dude.
Correct. I agree. Strict rules.
They do things different in the.
And, well,
whatever
it was written in their sublease.
you will be on the Christmas card, and your friend will too.
Clearly, contractual. All contractual.
And then we fade out. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that was Charles in Charge, ladies and gents, and what a doozy. We are getting to that time. This may be our longest episode yet.
Oh.
Nothing wrong with that. We're giving people something to enjoy.
Yeah.
If you are a first-time listener, and again, you're still with us, wow. We vote. If it gets two or more, I'll be backs. It gets on our wall of fame. If it gets two or more, you're in big trouble, misters. It goes on our wall of shame. Who would like to start the voting this week? I'm conflicted. Does anybody have full on? Does anybody know what they're doing here?
I'm a little bit conflicted, but I think that
I'll be back.
it's a catchy song. It's very it's very exactly what the time period was, and I can't knock it for. I can't knock 80s songs for being, a song from the 80s from being an 80s sounding song.
That's fair. All right, Engineer Pete gives it an I'll be back. It is one for the positive.
So, similar to last week with Facts of Life, I feel different now than what I thought once I knew what we were doing. And this is a Michelle Tanner for me.
You're in big trouble, mister.
So you thought you were going to like it more than you did. It's the
My
opposite.
recollection was I love this song. I was like, I like the show. It's a catchy song, and when I listened to it today, it's a dumpster pile.
Lyrics?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say lyrics or music. What's your big hang up?
I don't have a problem with the lyric or with the music. The lyrics are ridiculous.
They're so bad.
Absolutely. Now they're spot on for what the show is, which is also ridiculous. So
I do appreciate that the lyrics. Again, I'll go back to the Smurfs. That the lyrics actually track with the show.
Correct. But that's where I stand today. I surprised myself again.
Well, I've got before I tell you my vote. I liked it less than I thought I would, and I didn't think I would like it that much to begin with. But I really liked the keyboard trumpets.
Okay.
I liked when they went up half a step, and I like the tale we wove around this steaming turd of a song has made it endearing to me in a way that I didn't know before we sat down and talked today. So I'm giving it an I'll be back.
I'll be back.
Simply because from here on forward, I will be picturing the mom in a bathrobe smoking a Terryton cigarette or a cool menthol and saying these words to Charles. Or maybe muttering them by herself in her bedroom when she's deciding whether or not to go down.
Wait, saying which words?
I'll be back.
Or saying...
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that
boy.
could get worse.
You're in big trouble, mister.
Oh, gosh, and she does it in a baby voice, too?
Oh, yeah, that's not good. Can I change my vote?
Man.
So this song is either on our Wall of Fame or Wall of Shame.
We're not even sure.
We're not even sure.
But by the votes, it did make it.
It did.
Yeah.
Well, we are just about out of time, guys. Any questions? I had one I thought of earlier today that I think would be appropriate. Do you guys have questions before we wrap it up?
I just feel dirty after this this whole conversation.
The innocence of your childhood
Yeah,
has
it's
been
gone.
stolen.
Absolutely gone. Absolutely
you've-
gone.
Analyzed the plot.
Pete?
No, I've got nothing.
So here's the question that I thought might be kind of fun. If you could be live-in help for any 80s TV show that didn't so you can't pick Mr. Belvedere, you can't so if you would be the basement dwelling person at our current age, so we're in our mid to late 40s. You're living with a fan and so pick an 80s TV show that you have to live in the basement of and you're contractually obligated to take care of their family. Clean, cook, blah, blah, blah. Grocery shop.
So the first thing that comes to my mind is Family Ties because I feel like the family dynamics there are hilarious and it would just be a great fly on the wall. There's always some kind of not too deep but conflict going on in that house.
Excellent answer.
Yeah.
If I was going to pick a 90s show, I think it's 90s, Roseanne. Just because I feel like there'd be very low expectations for what I do.
You're just like picking up old cans of Miller Lite and peanut shells.
Yeah.
That's it. Other than that, you and Roseanne are just...
Throw in a box of mac and cheese every night and call it a day.
That's a great... And I believe that's in the 80s as well. We'll be getting
I
to
agree with
Roseanne.
that. Yeah.
Okay, well then that's my answer.
That'll be coming up.
Roseanne.
There's so many. I think... I'm like you guys. I'm going for a little bit of like just what I think would be comically ridiculous. I'm going with Alf.
That was going to be my second one. Yeah.
So they had an alien and a 40-something-year-old dude living in their basement.
Yes, the show just got renewed for another season.
Instead of bringing the baby in like they do in so many shows, they bring in the 40-year-old guy that lives in the basement.
Guys, I had an idea. I know the ratings are going down for Alf. What if we get a mid-40s guy to live in the basement? Is
there
he
any
good
chance-
looking? You know, he's balding, a little bit ragged looking, but yeah.
Can we bring a Sasquatch into the family as well?
Correct.
Well, this has been an absolute pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, our longest episode to date, but we couldn't help ourselves. It was Charles in charge. We will be back next week with another wonderful, scholarly analysis of 80s television show. I'm John.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Pete.
Thank you so much for joining us here on the Super 80s Podcast Friend. See you next week.